and an introduction to Reverend, soon to be Reverend Dr. Laura Bennett. She's
About
speaking
another
today.
year.
Well, yeah, it goes by fast. Years go by fast at this
Yeah.
point. And she's speaking about I feel the spirit, and I this is the third in a series, and I think most of us are familiar with a lot of the things that she's doing. She has the online ministry, Unity of Heartmind, and of course she's been a minister, and her family's been a minister for 3 generations. Uh, and she's a facilitator of transformative spiritual education, a wonderful teacher of metaphysical Bible interpretation at taught at our Unity school for many years. And she just has a lot of knowledge and experience with Bible and spiritual growth. And we're looking forward to hearing what she has to tell us this morning. Please, Barbara, or Laura, please.
Oh, all right. Well, wow. What I'm just excited and enthused about this morning. And that's good, because that's our subject, is being feeling, well, I feel the spirit. That's the topic. I feel the spirit this morning. And we have some things to look at. This is an experiential talk as much as it is a talk. So we're going to be feeling it. We're going to be feeling it this morning. Okay, so we will begin. Kyle, go ahead and post this. This is what's going to take us through the talk. I prepared a video. I picked autumn, the autumn look. They had some lovely images of winter and snowflakes and everything. And I just thought, well, no, we're not quite there yet, but and here we are. So Spirit has a sense of humor there, but it still is a nice warm look for a Thanksgiving weekend, to complete a Thanksgiving weekend. A reminder of the abundance, the harvest, the whole thing. This is a basket, but the whole thing around the cornucopia, it's a European tradition. It was a harvest time tradition to take a ram's horn and fill it with goodies. So that's, it kind of got started there in their harvest time festivals. So we use it in our Thanksgiving images. So happy Thanksgiving to everyone this weekend. Next week you start, whether you do it individually, spiritually, or whatever, you start your Advent or your adventure, your path to new birth. So I'm sure you will do that in many beautiful ways. And the new birth is not just celebrated in the birth of Christ. It's the winter solstice. It's the return of the sun. It's also the Hanukkah celebration of the rededication of the temple. So there's a lot of renewal happening over the next month. And what we do is we bring in all that we already are and have, and we celebrate that. We start there, and then we open up to the adventure of finding our way to new birth. Okay, so we go on to the next slide. Woohoo! And this is for you to contemplate. I am grateful for ... So just take a deep breath and close your eyes and just think of one thing that you are grateful for. And it doesn't matter if you do it on mute, if you speak over other people, you might want to click yourself off of mute. But if you can just say one brief thing, one term, one thing, I am grateful for the beauty of our earth, of our planet that is surrounding us today. So it's like that. I am grateful for. And then I as you say that, I would like you to feel the energy of your own gratitude. whatever it is, if you've been if anybody's been feeling kind of down or anything like that, it's true. Counting your blessings really does bring in a special kind of energy, a reminder of the blessing of life itself. So just think of something you're grateful for. And when you're ready, just say what that is. We'll just take a moment to do that. And you can say,
Laura, I'm grateful for the extraordinary gift of being able to feel thankful.
yes. Beautiful.
I'm grateful for this community where I feel the Spirit.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for relationships with family and friends that warm my heart and give me great joy.
Awesome. Awesome.
I'm grateful for the beauty of nature. I get to look out on a whole lot of nature, and it's a great privilege.
Mm-hmm.
Doggy dogs. Grateful for dogs.
So you feel that enlivening spirit as you contemplate what you have to be grateful for. And is there anyone else before we move on to the next slide? All right, beautiful. So we will move on. Now we're starting to get into the holidays. Santa has come down, whatever it is, 34th Street, 5th Avenue, whatever it is in New York. The Christmas season, the holiday season has officially begun. Soon we'll be celebrating, like I said, Hanukkah and the solstice and the birth of Christ, whatever that means for you. So there are 5 expressions of love that we have been exploring, and I found the perfect image for those 5 expressions of love, a seasonal image that we have been exploring. This is the 3rd and final of the 5 forms of love talk, the 5 expressions of love. You can see we've looked at agape. And just as a review, agape is the universal love. It's the love out of which we were created. I was watching YouTube last night, and all of the new images from the web, the James Webb, and some of those images are finding galaxies that are older than they predicted the universe to be. So the scientists are kind of, whoa, now what do we do? So they're trying to find the answers to why they're seeing galaxies that are that old and fully matured, by the way, not beginner galaxies, but fully matured galaxies. So we live in a fascinating universe. But out of all of that creation, we're talking a universe that is predicted to be 13.8 billion years old. And galaxies that are now being found that, oh my goodness, why are we seeing galaxies that are older than that? So we're talking a vast infinity. And all of this comes down to the person sitting in your seat. And the closest language we can give it to why we are here is love. That's it. Why are you here? Love. To love, be loved, and to experience the love that is your nature. And like I said, I put it in this colloquial language. God wanted to experience love, so here we are. We're here so God can love God. It's really an amazing feeling. So that's agape. Philostergos is the community love. It's what we experience with each other. What we just said, some of us said we're grateful for. That community connection with family, and with community that is mutually beneficial. Mutually beneficial. And then there's Philadelphia, which is our love for our fellow human beings, locally and around the world. There's that brotherly, sisterly love that we feel for all of humanity. And we can expand it beyond humanity to all living things. Phileo. Phileo is what we're looking at today, phileo and eros. So let's move on and look at phileo. To the next slide. There we go. The phileo, the meaning of phileo. And who would like to read the meaning of phileo? Those 2 points there. And if you don't, I will. It's no problem.
I'll read it.
Okay, very good. Very good.
The meaning of phileo: to approve, to like, to sanction, to treat affectionately or kindly, to welcome and befriend. This can be the desire for approval, for being liked, for affection, or having friends.
In the biblical context, whenever that term is used, that particular form of love is used, they use it as a desire to be liked, to be accepted, to be treated affectionately or kindly. It's something that we all have. And when we don't feel it, is when we might experience sadness, depression, upset, because we cannot love or like ourselves enough, and so we seek it in the outer sense. And Jesus gave a perfect example of what that's like in Matthew 6:5. Who would like to read that verse on the right there?
I'll do it.
Okay.
And whenever you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love, phileo, to stand and pray in the synagogues at the street corners, so that they may be seen by others. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward. Yes,
a little typo there, but I'm gonna use that in my talk. That I have a little typo there. So they love to stand and pray, yeah. And truly, I tell you, they have received their reward. Now, Jesus didn't say they're evil, they're bad. Anybody's bad for doing that. He just says they get what they get out of it, which ain't much. Okay, they get the momentary, oh, isn't that grand? Isn't that wonderful? Oh, I'm so inspired. Oh my gosh, but there's still the emptiness. There's still the emptiness that comes when you seek love, when your ego needs that, when it needs that kind of attention, that kind of affection. And if you move on to the next slide, there we go. So the meaning of phileo continued. What if the desire to feel good about ourselves did not come from the inauthentic need to show off as an attempt, conscious or otherwise, to compensate for low self-esteem? Do we know anybody like that? Have we been anybody like that? Okay. So what if we turned phileo on its ear, okay, and took the heart of that meaning, and we actually gave ourselves love and affection. We actually gave ourselves kindness and respect. We actually had compassion for ourselves, such that we didn't depend on this person or that person or these people out here to validate us for our existence. Because I think that's when a lot of people tend to get most upset or into an argument, is like, you're not respecting me enough, you're not validating me enough. I think that tends to happen. But what if we felt enough of that self-love to where we don't have to do that? So how can phileo transform us from wanting approval and affection to being the presence of approval and affection in our world? What if you became the source of phileo? Well, not the source, but the being who opened and awakened phileo in others, the self-love, the self-respect. What if you became someone who could facilitate that in others by your encouragement, and you have enough of your own self-acceptance and your self-love? Hence the typo, in Turkey, you have bought an authentic rug when it has mistakes in it. Okay, so if it's absolutely perfectly symmetrical and perfectly designed, it's been woven by a machine and not hand woven. So it's actually a bit of a tradition for the weaver to at least put one mistake somewhere in the rug, so you know that this was hand woven and authentic. So we are these gorgeous Oriental rugs, and we have these little flaws that actually in themselves can be a blessing to who we are. In that is our growing edge, that's our cutting edge, that's I said we're here to love. But how to love, where to love, who to love? These are the growing edges. These are the little things that aren't quite there in the perfect symmetry in our magic carpet that we work on. So let's see how we can transform phileo from the ego need for that desperate need for validation and attention from other people, to that self-confidence and that ability to demonstrate for others what that kind of confidence is. The value of phileo is vulnerability, acceptance, loosening up, accepting your uniqueness, and being enthusiastic about life with all of its ups and downs. So being vulnerable means, actually it means being willing to make mistakes. It means being willing to be foolish and look foolish. It means being grateful that you have a growing edge. I mean, think about it. What would life be like without your growing edge? It would be, why am I even here? It would be pretty dull, pretty darn dull. So it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to own your mistakes. It's okay to tell people, hey, I messed up. And it doesn't depend, remember, you're not depending on their opinion of you. You're able to say it because you have fully accepted yourself. You love yourself so much that we are told, so especially last week, we're told to love and accept others for who they are. Well, love and accept you for who you are. That's the value of phileo, which allows you to love and accept others for who they are. And that kind of loosens up or lightens up. Loosening up means, feeling more relaxed and at ease with you. With you. Yeah. So lighten up on yourself. All right. I don't know how often you've ever used that term, lighten up or loosen up, just apply that to your own opinions about yourself. And know that you are a unique expression. Nobody, just like these hearts, each of these hearts are unique. Nobody is just like you, just like every snowflake out there that fell. All those snowflakes they become one with all the other snowflakes and they make a beautiful landscape together. But each snowflake is unique, each one. And when you can love and accept yourself, then you can feel enthusiastic about life. You know, a habit I've had is misplacing my keys. Had it all my life. Okay, where are my keys? They used to make fun of me in ministerial school, you know, at the end when they were writing up little things and they were telling, oh, Laura's going to be a wonderful minister so long as she can find her keys. You know? It was things like that. Anyway, see, loosen up, lighten up. It's okay. It's okay. That's the little flaw in the beautiful rug. That's part of your uniqueness and your expression. And it's your vulnerability. Without vulnerability, there's no relatedness. So just remember that. You can inspire and impress. You'll be the person praying from the rooftops, and people will be impressed by your magnificent words. But without your own vulnerability, there's no connection or relatedness. So that's the value of loving yourself enough to be vulnerable, to be accepting, to loosen up, to know your uniqueness, and to be enthusiastic. Okay, next slide. There we go. Now we're going to look at Eros. Eros. All right. And how did that term start? There are other terms for Eros. In fact, the word Eros is not in the Bible. Eros is in the Bible as a quality, as a power, as a spiritual expression of love, or as an expression of love. But the term is not. So let's look at where the term came from. Who would like to read this whole page? Anyone want to read this whole page? I'll help you through the words. Yeah. Okay.
Eros, in Latin, amor or cupido, the god of love, in the sense of which he was usually conceived. Eros is the creature of the later Greek poets. But wait, there's more.
Okay, now hold that wait for a second. So Eros, another name for Eros is Cupid. Okay, Cupido. And as Cupid, Eros is pictured as a little babe with the arrows that he shoots. It as a Greek god, Eros is a tall, handsome, young looking, you know, part of the power of what created the universe. That's what Eros is, part of the power of what created the universe. And that's our second reading. Go ahead, Joanne, and thank you for reading.
Eros was one of the fundamental causes in the formation of the world, inasmuch as he was the uniting power of love, which brought order and harmony among the conflicting elements of which chaos consisted. This is from the Dictionary of Greek and Roman Biography and Mythology.
Yeah. So Eros was a creative power in the universe that actually took all the chaotic morass and put it into harmony, so that there was enough of a harmonious relationship in the universe for existence to exist. Without Eros, without love, there would be no existence. Now, Eros can go either way. Eros has been known to be jealous, okay, and to act in ways that are possessive, and even violence has come out of that. All right, but Eros has also known to be just the pure, unadulterated, unconditional love that energizes that uplifts, that unites, that brings lovers together, that procreates. So eros can lean either way. Eros in the Bible, when eros has been played out as lust, we see it with David and Bathsheba, when he saw her naked on the roof, and pure lust, which resulted in murder, the murder of her husband. Didn't kill him directly, sent him to the front lines. So that, where he was sure to not survive. And so we see that David did that. David, whose name literally means beloved. So we see David getting scolded by the prophet Nathan about that. And David goes into total repentance, The child that's born out of his lust dies. Now that is sad. That's deeply sad. And what we recognize is the symbology of that. Nothing born of lust can last. Nothing born of lust, pure lust. Not that lust is a bad thing when it is the servant, when it is the instrument through which spirit expresses. But when it becomes the ruler, nothing that is created out of that can last. Okay, and then we have eros, which is the total being in love with life itself, because you are in love with the divine within you. Because you are in love with the divine within you, and you recognize that agape, that presence of it all around you. That is the other form of expressing eros. So let's move on to the next slide on that. So the meaning of eros is our drive to sense, to feel, to connect with others and with whatever our concept of God might be, in ways that creatively contribute to life. All right. Now here is a passage from Song of Solomon, very erotic. You do not need to look up erotic poems anywhere but in the Bible. You go to Song of Solomon, you've got your eros taken care of. Okay. But what is it? How did such an erotic collection of poetry make it into the Bible? Because when those books were being selected, when those writings were being selected for the Hebrew Bible, as legend goes, there was an old rabbi who said, this symbolizes the love between humanity and God. And then later we individualize that by saying it's the love between the human and the divine. And then we metaphysicalize it and say it's the love between what is human in you and what is divine in you. And it is love that brings it together, that makes it one. So think of that. In this passage, the young man is your inner Christ. The young woman who is saying the words is your soul. So think of that when we hear these words. Okay. And who would like to read this passage?
I'll read it.
Okay.
As an apple tree among the trees of the wood, so is my beloved among young men. With great delight, I sat in his shadow, and his fruit was sweet to my taste. He brought me to the banqueting house, and his banner over me was love.
Does that sound like a familiar phrase? His banner over me is love.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. His banner over me is love. Okay. Anyway, I learned that years ago in my younger days. All right. But in other words, I am enwrapped and protected, and the what looks over my life and what represents me in the world is love. And with the apple tree is it's the sustenance, the substance with which we are continuously provided when we feel the love in our lives. As an apple tree among the trees of the wood, and an apple tree whose fruit is sweet to my taste, an apple tree that is abundant in its fruit, that brings harmony and peace to my being. There was even a Christmas song. Let's see if I can remember a verse or two. There was even a Christmas song years ago. It's from the Appalachian tradition of our country. And it's called Jesus Christ the Apple Tree. But has anybody ever heard of that song? When I first heard that song, I thought, what are they singing about? So, being the person I was into finding out such things, I looked it up, and this was the passage. So let's see if I can get a verse or two of this. The tree of life my soul has seen, laden with fruit and always green. The tree of life my soul has seen, laden with fruit and always green. The trees of nature flow past thee, compared with Christ, the apple tree. Its beauty doth all things excel, by faith I know, but ne'er can tell. Its beauty doth all things excel, by faith I know, but ne'er can tell. The glory which I can see is found in Christ, the apple tree. So this is the kind of beauty we experience. We may call it Christ. We may call it the divine. We may call it the universe. Whatever it is, we call that within us, which is all expansive and all loving. When we feel connected with that, this is the kind of beauty we experience. This is our apple tree, our sweet fruit. Okay. And when we feel that, and when we let it energize our very being, that is Eros. Okay, and our next slide. These are other names for Eros. So who would like to read quickening, what Charles Fillmore called quickening? Who would like to read that?
I can read that.
Okay.
Quickening, an inflow of divine energy into the body, which follows the affirmation of truth. To quicken is to make alive. Spiritual quickening is a waking up of the whole man, parentheses human being, to the full consciousness of what he or she is in the sight of God.
Yeah. So quickening is that influx of spiritual energy that follows that affirmative prayer. It is that awakening to, oh my gosh, that is who we are. That is what is so. That is the truth. And that is the kind of thing that we need, especially in our world today, when we might feel so low in our energy and ready to give up, ready to resign, ready to be apathetic. Oh my gosh, where do I turn to vote? Where do I turn to help with the peace in the Middle East and in Ukraine and in Africa? And how, it's just too overwhelming. I can't take it. I'm tired, But if we hold to prayer and we get this direct, specific, focused guidance, and we feel energized with that, that is the quickening. That is eros. That is the quickening of divine love, loving itself. And that is the eros, the creative power of the universe, the creative power of the universe that has created whole galaxies that are vast, that are in vast distances from us, as well as the very one we live in. Now, sometimes I get a little crazy thought, and when I say, when I think, you know, when we're looking at, when the scientists are looking at those little red dots, and they have all of these spectrum ways of figuring out what kind of red dot they're looking at, and when they figure out they're looking at a fully mature spiral galaxy like the Milky Way, with they call it spiral and banded because there are bands of stars in it, and like the band we see, you know, the spiral arm. We're seeing a spiral. When you see the Milky Way, we're seeing a spiral arm go across the sky up from our galaxy. You know, when I think that creativity is in us, are we in fact looking way back into time to look at ourselves? You know, is that depth? Are we going deep to discover ourselves? It's pretty amazing. I think that's why all science exists, all philosophy, all psychology, all spirituality. We are on the path of ongoing self-discovery. So aliveness, I don't know about you, but that makes me come alive. And eros is not complete unless you physically experience it. I'll say that again. Eros is not complete in its expression unless you physically experience it. You don't have to dance, although when I gave this talk on a platform, I did a little dancing with it. But you can, you know, there's so much you can do to physically experience eros. And who would like to read about that? Aliveness.
I got it.
Okay, thank you, Jeff.
Aliveness. The body does not have to be in a particular condition to experience the benefit of energizing movement. It can be done while sitting, stretching, engaged in sexual activity, or simply while breathing. Energizing movement infuses the body with a gape, awakens the sensation of eros, and brings aliveness to the whole being, spiritual and human.
Yes. Energizing movement. If you can find a form of energizing movement, even if it's just energizing movement, infuses the body with agape, with that universal love. It awakens the sensation of eros and brings aliveness to the whole being, spiritual and human. Okay, so whatever it is you are up to, take time to start with that phileo and love yourself. Get in touch with what you're grateful for, like we did at the beginning of this talk. Feel vulnerable in what you're doing. You're not doing this because you're perfect and you're going to fix the world. You're doing this because you're on your own path of growth and experience. I think I've quoted Winston Churchill to you before, but my favorite saying of Winston Churchill is, let's see if I can remember it. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. And if you've ever seen the movie Darkest Hour, it's at the end of that movie. It's quoted at the end of that movie. It is the courage to continue that counts. So that courage, that faith, that stepping out it takes an inner energy when nothing else seems like it's worth it. It takes that inner energy, but the results can be a transformed life and a transformed world. Okay, our next slide, and we'll bring this to a close. The faith of Eros. It's simple. Feeling alive is true holiness. Feeling alive is true holiness, because that's what holiness is. Holiness is your wholeness that you already are. It doesn't matter if you have something going on with your body or if your body's a different kind of expression. It doesn't matter. You are whole and complete just as you are. And you can feel that in your body, just as your body is, just as you are. You can feel that aliveness through the love for life itself. Feeling alive is true holiness. And so let's just take a moment and take a deep breath and close our eyes. And feel what we felt before when you focus on something for which you are grateful. And feel the energy of that gratitude. Sense it. Feel it moving through every part of your body and being. Feel it rushing to those areas in need of some relief or some release. Bringing its divine healing energy. One of the unity affirmations that's a healing prayer is mighty currents of healing love are moving through me now. And if there is any place you feel vulnerable, then accept yourself for your vulnerability. Lighten up on you. Next time that self-criticism goes through your mind, smile at it, laugh at it like you would a chattering monkey, and just let it chatter its way into oblivion. Lighten up. Know you are a unique expression of the divine. Feel energized and enthused by that. And with the value of self-love and the gratitude of the heart, dwell in the energy of feeling alive in the silence. And take a deep breath. Now feel this aliveness in your head and through your face and neck and down your shoulders and down your arms and out your fingertips. Feel it moving through the core of your body, your chest, making your heart beat and keep its rhythm, moving through your abdomen, doing the divine work of digestion and assimilation and release, Feel it moving down through your sexual organs and knowing that all is well there, filled with healing love and light. And feel it moving through your hips and your legs and your knees, down the calves, and out the bottom of your feet to connect you with the divine energy of this earth. You are now grounded in Eros and uplifted to expand into the universe. Feeling alive is true holiness. And we're going to celebrate that with faith by starting off our Christmas season with the pentatonic, So Come All Ye Faithful, and please feel free to rock out. All right.
Thank you, Evermore. Wonderful, wonderful. Although, yeah, particularly for the wrap up with the music, to, get the feeling, we gotta live it live. All your connections with love. Just really appreciate your making it come alive for us. Thank you.